All right, everyone, if you could please take your seat. We are just about to begin. I know the excitement is high. I get it. Before we begin, the staff and board of Folk Alliance International acknowledge New Orleans is settled on the ancestral indigenous lands of the Attakaapa Ishak, Caddo, Chimachata, Choctaw, Homa, Natchez, and Tunica peoples, and the Batiste Nation. We also recognize Alabama, Biloxi, Cotatsi, and the Ofo peoples and others who were pushed into Louisiana from their ancestral lands. With that, I'm going to turn it on over to my wonderful colleague to give our opening remarks. Here's Lacey.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lacey Chatinier, and I am actually the music officer for the state of Louisiana, working under the Office of Cultural Development. On behalf of Folk Alliance International and Louisiana, thank you for being here and for rising up with us in New Orleans. For more than 3 decades, Folk Alliance International has supported artists and communities that surround them. In 1989, since 1989, FAI has been a home for musicians, culture bearers, and change makers who believe that music is not only an art form, but a vital force for connection, advocacy, and collective care. That commitment to artists and community is at the heart of everything we do, and it's especially present in this moment. This year's conference theme, Rise Up, reflects the power of music to respond in moments of challenge, to renew us in times of change, and to call us into collective action. There is no place where those truths live more fully than right here in New Orleans, a city where culture is resilience, joy is resistance, and music has always been a frontline force for social justice. At Folk Alliance, we understand folk not as a fixed genre, but as a living practice rooted in community, lived experience, and the transmission of culture. Folk music comes from real people and real places, and it tells the truth. Today's keynote is an intimate fireside-style conversation centered on personal stories of growing up in this city, of the cultural forces that shape artistry, and of how music doesn't just reflect the world around us, but actively helps to transform it. We're honored to be joined by 2 transformative New Orleans artists. First, Tank, of the Grammy-winning singer, songwriter, and poet of Tank and the Bangas, whose work bridges poetry, rhythm, vulnerability, and joy, continuing a long lineage of artists whose voice and rhythm, they use them to speak truth and document lived experience. And then we have Big Freedia, nationally acclaimed hip-hop artist, television personality, cultural icon, and our undeniable queen of bounce. Her voice is iconic. Her influence on culture, visibility, and liberation extends far beyond the stage. And her work is inseparable for the very fabric of what makes this city this city. Bounce music is communal and participatory. It's passed hand to hand and generation to generation. Modern roots music shaped by call and response, collective memory, and the creative resilience of Black and LGBTQIA+ communities. Together, these artists represent traditions that are deeply place-based, community-driven, and historically under-recognized within institutional music spaces. Bounce, hip-hop, spoken word, R&B, these are folk traditions in motion, living, breathing expressions of culture, survival, and joy. So guiding this conversation is Gwen Thompkins, a native New Orleanian journalist, writer, and longtime public radio host, whose work blends curiosity, thoughtful engagement, and deep respect for both art and artists. She'll lead us in exploring these themes of resilience, joy, cultural renewal, and the responsibility artists carry in moments that call us to rise together. The conversation will close with the collective call to solidarity, reminding us that music is not just something we consume, but something we live, share, and use to build the future we want to see. So please join me in welcoming Gwen, Tank of Tank and the Bangas, and Big Freedia.
Wow, it's so good to see you all. Man, this is pretty great. Oh, man. Well, I tell you, Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. It was fantastic. I just have a couple of words to say before we start, and that is that wrong or right, we depend on musicians in a way that we don't depend on any other public figures. We want our favorite musicians to lead us like the Pied Piper. And in New Orleans, we literally follow them down the street. They are our preachers, our prophets, and our poets. And whether they're second lining or ass shaking or singing poetry on a porch, they seem to be able to make sense of this world or what it's like to live in this world more clearly than anyone else. Like these little kids right here. I could tell you who they are, but to borrow an expression from the Bounce Queen of New Orleans, you already know. Please help me welcome again New Orleans-born Grammy Award-winning artist Tarriona Tank Ball and Big Freedia. This is not a quiz, so if you don't know the answer to something or don't want to tell us the answer to something, nobody's going to make you. Okay. All right? Democracy still stands at the Sheraton. All right? Okay, so let's start with you, Tank. Tell us about the little children we see right now in this image. I don't know if you can see it, but we have a picture. Where's the picture? They can see it, but you can't see it.
I can't.
Okay, well, you got to step down for a second. And
Okay.
Go look at it. So go tell us. Look at this picture, and go. There's the stairs right there.
Oh, it's Tank. Is it Freedia too? Oh my God! How'd you get that? How you got that picture?
So, okay, we want to know who these little kids are. We want to know names. We want to know how old they are. And we want to know about what they cared about most.
Wow. Okay, so that's me and my little brother, Ivy. And I think it's like the only picture I really have of me being like that young. And what I'm thinking is when I see it as mama, so I guess you got tired around your fourth child, huh? You got no more pictures of me as a baby? That's all I think of when I see that picture sometimes, and I think about how cute my little brother was and how I just want to kiss him so much.
And how old were you?
I don't know.
No, less than 10, I would say.
Yes,
huh?
definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
And so when you were a little kid about that age, what do you remember? What did you want most? What did you love most?
Food.
Same. That's exactly what I was thinking. Love to eat.
Ooh, love my mama make that gravy and rice and that roast and that potato salad and them green beans. My mama always was cooking, and I always appreciated it. And of course, I was also just in my own little world of playing with my Barbie dolls and watching my sister play with hers, and just watching my sisters grow and teach me things along the way. That was a good part of life, and reading my sister's diary.
Wow. What are you, Columbo?
Just curious.
Oh my goodness. And when did you feel most loved?
When did I feel most loved? Honestly, I think I felt most loved when I was left to myself. When I was left to my devices, when everybody said, all right, Tank, we about to go by my house. And I said, I'm going to sit here and watch the Disney Channel and eat ice cream. And if you let me do that, and I wasn't forced to go if I didn't feel like, I feel loved. I feel left alone.
I love it. Trust. When they trusted you to stay by yourself.
I love that you said that, because I used to always say, I surely appreciate that my mama trusted what she raised.
There you go. There you go. All right, Big Freedia, I don't know if you've seen the picture.
I did.
I spy Freddie Ross Jr. in that picture. Little Freddie Ross Jr.
Yes, indeed.
Oh.
A young little queen, still figuring out who I was. Another thing, I love food. I used to hide snacks under my bed. My mama would say, boy, you get them snacks from under your bed. I was a very outspoken and loud young kid. And I felt most love all the time because my mom was my biggest cheerleader, and she protected me from any and everybody.
That's true. That's true. Miss Vera?
Yes.
Miss Vera, of course. Yeah, you actually said something to me some years ago. You didn't tell it just to me. You told the world. You said, if your mother has your back, if the woman who born you has your back, then there can be nobody against you.
I said, if my mama have my back, I don't need validation from nobody else.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it. I love it. You can clap. You can clap. Yeah. For the mothers. For the mothers. Oh my goodness. Well, one of the reasons why I wanted you to look at those photographs and to remember who you were back then is because what I've noticed is that in both of your careers, you have sort of, you have made music, and you've also written all kinds of verses that sort of remind people what it was like to be a child, remind people what it was like to, to have that kind of wonder, and it's really interesting because, with all due respect, it's not like we necessarily think about bounce music as one of wonder and innocence. However, you always manage to get it in there, and so I know that in your careers you've both done children's songs, you've both contributed to children's literature, and all, and so can you talk a little bit, Tank, about your work, in children's lit and in trying to connect with children.
I think it may sound so corny to say it, but the children really are the future. They really are. And you want to put good things into the future and into the minds of the children that are creating the futures for us. Because if I didn't have Donnie Hathaway to grow up on and Stevie Wonder, if I didn't have Peabo Bryson, if I didn't have Kirk Franklin in the family, if I didn't have these good things pouring into me, then where would I be? So if we are the next in line to pour something into somebody, to help them along their day, to help with their moral compass, because nobody in church like they used to be. So if it's going to be in the music, then it's going to be in the music. It got to be then, because that's what you're listening to.
I see. Well, that's certainly true. And one thing is that you both in your careers have name-checked Frankie Beverly and Mays, also as like somebody that that comes from childhood as well. I wonder why. I mean,
that was my mama's man.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loved her some Frankie.
Saturdays, cleaning the house,
yes.
Listening to Frankie Beverly and Mays.
Yes, indeed.
Happy Feelings.
Yes.
Oh my! Do you all know that song? That is such a great song, y'all. Put it on your list, right? It is fantastic, and all. But the thing about it is that, Freedia, you have been mixing, childhood melodies with your in your music for some time, since the very beginning, actually. And what's interesting is that sometimes you mix these childhood melodies with very adult situations and language. Yeah. And because I think that my guess is that you're showing people that adults are not as adult as we think they are, and that children are not as childlike as we think they are. Is that true?
Well, in certain instances, for sure. A lot of times as a kid, my mom would say, go play outside and get out of grown folks' business, But I'm always trying to listen to what the grown folks talking about, So many times as a kid, we were not doing the kid things that we were supposed to do and trying to be with the adults.
Exactly. I always go back to this song when I think about you, which is, I don't even know if you even think about this song anymore, but it's a song you did many years ago with the Akron family and Katie Red called Sally Racket.
Sally Racket, I remember it, yes.
All right, so we're going to play a little bit of Sally Racket just so that you can get a sense of what children's music can sound like. All right, Connor, he's my man back there. All right.
What's going on, Big Freedia, girl?
What's up, Katie Red?
Girl, nothing, girl. I'm chilling, girl. Once I met this girl named Dolly Ducky Freedia.
Dolly who?
Dolly Ducky, ass like a bucket.
Dolly Ducky and the boys want to pluck it.
I promise you, Freedia.
Katie,
girl.
one day I met this girl named Sally Raggett.
Sally who?
Sally Raggett, and she stole my jacket.
Yeah, baby, baby, girl.
One day I met this girl, her name was Susie Skinner.
Susie Skinner.
And she was not a beginner.
Girl, I bet she was a winner.
Oh, she was a winner.
And she had a winner. This is a song that...
Not Freedia into folk.
Where does that song take you back to?
Oh my God, that was a long time ago. You know, somebody hit me and Katie up to do this song, and we had a lot of fun with it. You know, me and Katie, we just was playing off of each other or whatever, and you know, as we talk about kids and all of the things happening in my world, I actually have a kids book that'll be coming out real soon.
What's it called?
Big Frida's Bounce House. Yes. And it also have music to go along with the book.
I love it. I love it. You know, not so long ago, New Orleans celebrated its 300th year anniversary. And people seem real happy about it, right? And they're happy about making it this far. But the other important truth of the matter is that people who live here also know that no matter how proud they are of New Orleans, and no matter how much they love New Orleans can break your heart.
Yes, it can.
It can break your heart. And so one thing that you all do in your music, and it's interesting because your careers are, I mean, they intersect, but they're very, they're discrete careers, is that you capture both the joys and frustrations of being a resident of this city. And so Tank, tell us a little bit about a song that you wrote on the Tank and the Bangas album, The Heart, the Mind, the Soul, the Grammy-winning album, I must add, right? And it's called Am I Still New Orleans?
I love that one. Love that one so much. It's very personal for me because I didn't always feel very, very typical New Orleans. I wasn't at every second line. I was in church. I always would get lost because I'm very directionally challenged. I still am today. But I just didn't always, I had never even been to the inside of the Zulu Club, I was born here, but I just wasn't deeply into the culture of a lot of typical people that normally was, because I just had a very different POV. It's almost like not all the way, but almost like a sheltered child in a certain type of way, only because I just had a family full of pastors and reverends, and so we stayed in church a lot.
I see. And so let's hear a little bit of that song, if that's okay with you.
Am I still New Orleans if I can't second line? If my feet don't dance and my back don't bend and my hands don't clap to the beat, and I like the heat of the summer or the smell of Jazz Fest. If I dance in the rain with the white folk in my Sunday's best. What if my pralines don't taste as sweet and I can't sew my Indian feathers on or catch falling beads? If I hate Bourbon Street or don't speak the way you speak or they speak, am I still New Orleans if I never felt super on Sunday? If I spend my Sundays passing out...
I love those questions. In large part because there are so many mythologies of New Orleans, and maybe the city has pushed the same mythology for too long, because your experience is not different from so many New Orleanians and so many artists who come from New Orleans and all, and yet. The wider public is always told that everybody is in the second line. Everybody's in the second line. Yeah. Have you had that experience too, Big Freedia? Did you notice the difference between what New Orleans tends to say about itself and your own experience in New Orleans?
Well, I did. I was able to be, I was actually also in church as a kid. I grew up in the church. I was in church more than anything. I felt like I was in church 6 days a week, and I was outside one day of the week. But I also had the opportunity to be a part of the culture because my aunt and my cousins, they were Mardi Gras Indians, so we got to be able to help them with like making costumes. We would be out there when they were masked. And so my aunt also, she sold suppers, every day. That was her way of, her profession. And so she sold suppers to the community every day of her life for 25 years on Jackson Avenue.
Lunch and dinner?
Well, just all throughout the day. I mean, you can come at 8 o'clock at night and you say, Ms. Deborah, I want to buy a plate. She'll get up and say, go turn that grease on and go fry that chicken.
I love a supper plate. Jesus
oh, yeah.
Christ.
And I mean, she did that for years, and I would help her. So I was very into the community as well as into church,
Mm-hmm. And so when you think about the city, do you find that, I mean, you seem to agree that New Orleans can break your heart.
Oh, most definitely.
And so in what sense do you feel it most? Or have you felt it most?
All the people that I've lost. From my mom to my partner to a lot of my family members, my aunt, a lot of my cousins who've, passed away. All just the heartaches and sorrow that I've saw growing up as a child. When I was shooting my TV show, one of my producers asked me, how many rest in peace shirts you have? And when I actually sit down and counted the number of rest in peace shirts I had, it was over 50.
Come on. Really?
Yeah.
And are you talking about death in the sense of death as it comes naturally, or are you talking about death in the sense of how it can come, in New Orleans unexpectedly?
More unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Out of all the deaths that I've saw, maybe, 10% were natural causes.
Mm. Did you have the same experience, Ted?
New Orleans breaks my heart in a different way. See,
How?
when you said that just broke my heart. I don't have one rest in peace shirt. But when I drive around my community and I still see that the storm has hit it, look like it hit it like last week. Like that's what breaks my heart in New Orleans. To see us gather and rally so much around to have a cultural moment, but never too much a political one. Like those are things that break my heart, that it looks like it's been almost 20 plus years since the storm hit, but it looked like it hit last week in some neighborhoods. The fact that there has been no growth in a lot of areas, that's what breaks my heart. When I see stores closing almost every week. The beauty mall closed up the street. I need that beauty mall. I need that beauty mall.
Really closed?
Up the street from my house, yes.
No way.
And I was just thinking, like, stuff like that break my heart.
I am concerned.
There's a lot of beauty stores thing. There's so many
this one
beauty
had
stores.
just closed, and it was convenient. It was right next to Winn-Dixie.
Well, a lot has changed in New Orleans, and for me, the things that break my heart is just like, there's not any black clubs really here in New Orleans like when I was growing up. I had clubs 7 days a week. I would run a different club every day of the week that were owned by a black person, and that's not even the case now. There's not one black gay club.
Really?
Yeah.
I had heard that gay clubs in general have really receded.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Worldwide.
I mean, we only had two, really.
In New Orleans.
Yeah, it was Fusions and Vibe. Mm-hmm. And those two went away. And so there's really nothing. The society page is ran by a black man, but it's owned by a white person. And so there really are no black club owners here in New Orleans that even, hold that position.
That's amazing. I remember reading your memoir, God Bless Big Freedia, God Bless the Queen Diva, and I was shocked by how many clubs you went to and really that helped you form your personality, your persona for your career, all of these things. I mean, they're like schools for musicians, aren't they?
Yes,
what I mean?
they
These
are.
small
they were my
clubs.
platform. They were There were my practice spots every day that I was able to go there, be myself, come up with all kind of dance moves, just watching the crowd, watching people, in conversation, making songs, and just the whole 9 yards. That's who made me who I was, all of these different spots that I would go in. And they also were all in different neighborhoods of New Orleans. So I got to do one that was, in the 17. I got to do one that was downtown. I had 4 uptown. I had one on the West Bank, here and there, different spots that I was able to go to and represent for those different neighborhoods.
And so, Tank, did you have a similar experience? Were you able to find clubs
I
where
was
you
shaking
could
that
perform?
ass. I was shaking that ass. I was not.
Where you was shaking that
I was
thing?
not at the clubs with Freedia. I was at the poetry clubs, snapping my fingers. But guess what, though? That was just as instrumental to me, because the girl who can perform now with so much exuberance and so much excitement now literally used to close her eyes and perform and tell people, don't look at me. Because these are the places that help us build our confidence, give us strength, see others around us and let us know that we were not alone. They weren't just a place for us to perform, but a place for us also to take the mask off and be among people that were just like us. It was special places for us. It was havens. And so a lot of those places have closed down too, and it was due to the storm, but even for me, it was really COVID, honestly, because it was places that we all came together, and when you don't have these places, for people to come to pour money into every weekend, they fall by the wayside, they die.
Well, I mean, is there a way to get them back?
We're trying. Poetry on the Porch.
Poetry on the Porch, if you don't already know, is a fantastic series that's online on YouTube.
And we're just starting to do little live versions of them in a secret garden. It's invite almost only. It's really beautiful. It's very special.
Oh, wow. Where is that?
It's a secret garden.
Secret garden. Do you want to share what
You
the
have to
secret
go
garden
on
is?
like Tank in the Banker's Instagram, like literally like RSVP, like.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. It's really secret.
But you can come though, but we don't give the date until and the place until the date of the event. But it's very special. The tickets go very fast. So come to the next one. We're gonna do one in February. Freedia, you gonna come?
Yes, thank
All right.
You got to go. You
I'm
got
gonna
to
go to
go.
the secret garden.
And so, Freedia, do you... So do you see queer clubs coming back? Do you see black-owned clubs coming back? Is that right now we're seeing in New Orleans an explosion of restaurants, for instance, that are black-owned, that seem to be doing very well.
Yes.
You've got a hotel coming out, right?
And a club.
Sometime soon, and a club.
Yeah.
And also, is there, are you hopeful in a rebounding of sort of nightlife? For
I'm hoping, but
black-owned
things
nightlife.
have changed so much culturally here. Also, just for safety, and everything has changed just over the years. I mean, sometimes I'm afraid to even be at the clubs because things happen so quickly, and I'm just not trying to get hurt in the nightlife of New Orleans, but. It's all about the space that you create and the people that you keep around you. And so we are going to be, working on making some safe havens for people to be able to come to and to really sit and enjoy themselves. But I think that it will never go back to the era of pre-Katrina or,
Pre-COVID.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
I see. Well, it's so interesting because both of you have talked on many occasions about your experiences in the church. And, Big Freedia, you have talked about being in the Pressing On Baptist Church, from a very young age. You've talked about singing with the Gospel Soul Children, with the Gospel Music Workshop of America, and you were a choir director over at Pressing Onward as well.
Yes, and at Waltel Coin.
And you tell a story in your book about having to retreat from the sanctuary periodically when you were young and when you were in the church because of ministers who were bashing queerness. And at a time when self-titled Christians are rolling back or wanting to roll back civil rights for queer people in this country. Why do you think this queer bashing persists? And most importantly, what do you see when you look at these people?
Well, a lot of times I think that, you know, they use the Bible as their defense mechanism to say that, you know, God don't, you know, agree with queer folks or with gay folks or whatever. And one thing that I used to always say when I was young was, God knew me before I knew myself. You know, and he knows our heart. And another thing I always tell people that if you're a Christian, who are you to be the judge? We all have Judgment Day one day. And let people live and be who they want to be. Let people love who they want to love. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to love nobody but yourself. And you don't have to deal with any of these people if you choose not to. But you also don't have to judge these people because God is the ultimate judge.
It's true. It's true. You know, humility seems to be rare these days, you know. It's a rare trait. And I remember it was not really that long ago. I remember when Pope Francis, when asked about gay marriage, said, "Who am I to judge?" And that made headlines. Yeah. Just the act of saying, "Who am I to judge?" You know, and all. And so what's amazing to me is that Pressing Forward is your first gospel album, right? Pressing Onward. I'm sorry, I said Pressing Forward, but Pressing Onward. But I suspect that you have for a long time been writing what I would call secular hymns. You know what I mean? Songs that are meant to uplift people. And I'm going to play for you one of my favorites, which I actually do believe is a secular hymn, all right? Just like Louis Armstrong used to say, all music is folk music, right? This is a secular hymn. It's called Platinum.
Don't tell me about a bad time. You platinum. You platinum. Whoa, watch out. I'ma tell you what it's all about. I told you, you platinum. Don't tell me about a bad time. I've been guessing on, I've never seen a red line. Don't tell me about a bad time. Oh, I'm platinum, I'm never gonna flatline. You got shoes, go and glide. You got a roof, set it on fire. If you can move, bust it wide. Don't tell me about a bad time.
Platinum. I love this song.
Thank you.
I cannot tell you how many times I've played it because it's so great because you are reminding people to be grateful no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, and my favorite line is, you got shoes? Go and glide. You got a roof? Set it on fire. I mean, it's fabulous.
Thank you, Ms. Gwen.
And so are you writing these songs to get you out of bed, or are you writing that song to get everybody else out of bed? Why are you making these songs?
When I make my songs, I want to feel good about it. And if I feel good about it, I know my fans will feel good about it. So when I write them, I write them with joy. I write them with happiness. I write them with the expectation of making people smile, putting a smile on somebody's face today.
I love that. I love that. And Tank, you know, you have a song, and it's just like a little slip of a song, I have to say. It's like a little breeze that I also have played many, many times. And it comes from your recording called Think Tank, right?
Let me guess.
What's your guess?
Let me guess. Is it God Push Me?
Yes, it is God Push, interlude, God Push
They
Me.
love that one.
Tell me about that song. Well, do you want to hear it first, or you want to talk about it first?
Oh, you could pull it.
Okay, let's play it. It's really beautiful. It's really, Connor, please do the honors.
Let me tell you what I heard. I once heard a story about God pushing people off mountaintops. skyscrapers high, pushing people so they can fly. Oh, push me, God. Pushing people high, let them know they're not afraid of heights. Oh, God, push your people, push your people high, let them know they're not afraid to fly. Oh, push me, God.
I had made a second verse to that one time.
Really?
I
Wait.
never put it out.
Well, this is the moment. Connor?
I know that you're scared, feel so unprepared, but God is available. He always prevails. And just when you doubt, don't count yourself out. You'll take to the sky, you'll spread your wings out. Just don't you be afraid, no, no.
Yes,
Tarriona Tank Ball.
that's beautiful, Tank.
Thank you, Free.
Oh my gosh. You know, it's like all of these songs that you all are making help people, I think, you know, like me or like anybody else who's listening, feel courage. And that's really powerful, you know what I mean, to feel courage. Why did you write that song?
When I was in the poetry club at Pass It On, a girl had wrote a poem about God pushing her and how she was so scared and why he was pushing her off of such a mountain. And she said that, I know why you pushed me so that I could fly. And I just thought that was, it gave me chills. I thought it was so important and so special because we get to these high places in life and we feel like we're gonna fall, but it wouldn't bring you there so that you could trust that you're gonna fly.
But But it's also interesting, though, that both of you all are talking so frankly about religious belief. And, you know, everybody doesn't have religious belief, and that's okay, you know. It's got to be okay if this is going to be the world that we want to live in, right? And all, but you know, is the message that you are trying to share, and I'm asking both of you, is it always a message that has to come with God? Or is this a message that, you know what I mean, that can be spoken in your worlds in a more secular way?
God comes first in everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it don't matter what it is. Before we bounce, we give God thanks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my world. That's where I come from. And without God, I am nothing.
And so, what about you, Tank? I mean, do you?
When I'm creating, I'm not, you know, just thinking about, you know, I wonder what God will say with this. But it's definitely a message of trying to be intentionally not going too far off the rails, saying something else. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe that even no matter what your belief is, you must know that all these lights, this rug, this couch, something created it. It did not just appear. So for any of us to think that we just appeared here without something to create us the same way that everything is created on this planet is kind of, it's just insane. It's to believe in not magic, because the creation is the magic, but just nothing. And who wants to go on truly believing in nothing?
That's interesting. I mean, no, I didn't mean to stop you if you wanted to applaud. If you want to applaud, that's fine, you know. But I'm going to push you a little bit. I'm going to push you both on that, okay? Because the truth of the matter is, one can be agnostic or maybe even an atheist, and that doesn't mean that you believe in nothing. it just means that you don't necessarily buy into the notion of a God, particularly of a God that's been described in
That's because
all
that's the way
kinds
that
of
they've
rhetoric.
described it. And that's the way that they made us see what's going on here. I truly believe that once we die, that's when we get the answers. The true answers to why we here and what's up. You know what I'm saying? Do I believe that it's going to be a naughty or nice list? Like, I don't. But I do believe that we're going to be able to understand why what happened and why it's probably not even so scary to get on this side, and maybe even a true blessing because no one gets out of here alive.
Well, that's certainly true. And so, Freedia, did you want to add something?
Well, I mean, for me, faith is believing, not seeing. It's something that you have to believe in your heart and in your spirit. And you know, some people may not believe in nothing, but there is something to believe in. And I mean, no matter what that higher power is to certain individuals, something has to keep that drive going for people, you know, and I know God keeps it going for me.
You know, you have a song on Pressing Onward that is, well, you've got a lot of songs on Pressing Onward that are quite special, but the one that I'm thinking of is the one that's called Celebration.
Yes.
And I think that, you know, I mean, God forgive me, I think that ass shaking can be celebration.
Well, it is. It is definitely a form of celebration.
What?
I tell people I bring
worship.
people together through the power of ass.
Definitely.
And it is a revival.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
They only made us ashamed of it when we came to this land. On our original land, everything was worshipped, everything was good. I love the ground because the ground brings forth the plants bring forth the fruit from which I eat. It nourishes my body. I dance. And then when the missionaries came over, they was like, oh, all right now. That's too much of that. Probably because they didn't have it. Well, you know, I don't know. But it wasn't always something to be just purely temptational and just sexual. It was a form of worship. It was dance.
Yeah. You want to hear a little bit of celebration?
Yeah, I have something actually special
Say
coming
it.
out about
Oh.
celebration.
You want to say it before or after?
I'll say it after, but
right.
let's hear a little bit of celebration.
With bated breath, let's listen, Connor. Celebration with Dawn Richard.
Working, finding my purpose. Told on my soul is for a purchase. Deep down, I know I'm not perfect. Lord knows I've been a good servant. Now I lay me down to sleep. Pray the Lord my soul to keep. Thank you for the air I breathe. Protect me from my enemies.
Not bad.
You know, when I went in to write this dance record that I had did, you know, about 2 years ago, I went in with the intentions of writing a dance record, and I did 50 songs in 5 days.
Right.
But I wound up coming out with this song at the end of that session, which was Celebration, and my gospel album came before that dance record. Dawn Richard is on that actual single. But on my birthday, which is in a few days, on January the 28th, yes, Aquarius gang, I'm coming out with a remix of Celebration with none other than Queen Latifah.
That's news. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Man, you all have been doing so many really interesting collaborations with so many different artists. But I think the truth is that they want to collaborate with you. You know what I mean? It's funny because I think that you all as artists, and I think a lot of New Orleans artists, are asked to contribute to other people's work, and people are clamoring to work with you because you're bringing something that is unique, that is they're in a way borrowing, I have to say, from your authenticity, you know.
It's nothing like a Nola baby.
Now, that's my favorite Freedia song.
It's really true. But the thing about it is I wanted to ask you, Tank. Now, this has been a very chaotic year, you know, politically.
It just started.
Well, no, I mean, well, that's true. But politically speaking, the last 12 months have been quite chaotic. And, you know, there was a New York Times story that ran this week about how so many black women especially are seeing their careers derailed. The headline was actually, "Black women turn to one another as their career paths suddenly recede," right? And in some ways this sounds like news, but then in another way it sounds like Tuesday. I mean, it's been happening for a long time, you know, one way or the other. And so do you sense like a new anxiety about the times that we're living in within yourself? Do you sense it around you? And does that affect your work?
It just honestly feels very scary. I think that stuff don't hit you until it's in your backyard. Even when I was hearing about everything, you know, you'd be like, what, that's crazy. And then you keep on working. But then we had moments last year where it really actually affected us, like the world came into our little world that we made for ourselves. And it was very, very, very scary. And it almost, I feel like it turned our bus over. And now we're like literally just trying to put that bit back on his 4 wheels.
So wait, Lord, there's been so much trouble, girl. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So just to be clear, I mean, we put it online. We canceled a very big, beautiful tour because we had a young lady come up in our inbox and tell us that the person that we were touring with, she felt like he was grooming, that he had sexually groomed her since she was a child, since she was younger. And so we canceled that tour. And then we canceled another big show, or didn't cancel it because of DEI, you know, and that's a big affecting thing that we was like, what, that's really affecting the music? Because, you know, some people literally hire you because they're like, we're about to add some black people to this mix. You know, we're about to get the girl with the black poetry. You know, we're going to add her to the mix. And if they about to take that away from you, they about to take that funding away, then they just took your job away. So big things in the world affect little things in the world and medium things in the world. So we've definitely been directly impacted by what's going on with this world, and it definitely makes for you to feel worried at times. But we stay prayed up. We speak intentional positivity over what we're doing. We know who we work for, and we are still pressing forward.
That's right.
In this life, and we believe in
Yes,
it. We believe in
are.
our cause. We always have.
Yeah, it's true. You know, well, I suppose you produced it, but you appeared in this amazing video that came with your song, "This Black Girl," which you can see on YouTube if you like. And what's wonderful about it is that, you know what I mean, is that you say this really great line in the song, which is that black girls need space to fuck up.
And wear the crop top.
And do.
What is that, you know what I mean, like what were you thinking when you wrote that line? And because it has so many different meanings.
It has so many different
meanings. Like you can fuck
meanings.
up a space, or you can have space to make a mistake.
I need to have space to make a mistake. Definitely. I think that's exactly what I was thinking of, especially once black girls really climb up that ladder. I even think about my best friend and manager. She loves to cross her I's, dot her T's. But the moment that any mistake happened, you know, they're like, well, what happened? Because if everything is going perfect in front of me, then all the praise belongs to me. But the moment there's a mistake happening, everyone's looking at her. So, you know, we need the space to mess up too. We need the space. We need the grace.
Yeah, grace, exactly. You know, it's you know, I'm probably looking at two people who have really had to face the requirements of perfection more often than most people do.
I think of Michelle Obama like that. Like, man, Michelle had to be practically perfect.
Yeah, practically perfect. And then, have you felt that way as well, Freedia? Like in your career, that you've had to be on it and perfect, like meaning show up on time everywhere, be everywhere, you know what I mean, to be patient with people who don't understand,
Well, there's many times where I definitely have to be patient and remain humble, but for the most part, I don't let any of it change who I am. The most important thing for me is remaining who I am through it all. And a lot of times you have to try to adjust through all of the different lanes that you have to step into, and it can be a lot. I mean, it could be very overwhelming, especially being an artist, because you are pulled in so many different directions. But I've learned how to steer my ship where it doesn't sink or tilt over. Sometimes the crown get heavy, but it don't fall off.
Heard that.
Yeah, that works. That works. We're gonna play a little bit of This Black Girl, just so the people can hear it.
This black girl got an attitude. This black girl has a defense mechanism too. I feel played at least once a day. I need the treatment that you give the white girls. I know my worth, and it goes past the auction block, bitch. This black girl don't want you to tell her shit. This black girl only wants you to correct her in private. Don't embarrass the motherfucking diva. This black girl feels like people respect diva, so I'ma be a diva. Sweet as misbelieves when I need to be, and mean when the occasion calls for it. And the occasion always calls for it. This black girl don't speak for all black girls, but if I don't say it, who will? They gotta know she's strong-willed and soft and feminine and dark. Go get a homemaker and sometimes... I got that from Freedia.
Would you care to share with the class what you have been giggling about, you two?
Oh, no, Freedia was just telling me about another piece that I should listen to. What was it called again? What's the matter with the black man?
What's the matter with the black man?
Yeah, and I was giggling at that part. I say, don't embarrass the motherfucking diva. And I was like, I heard that for free.
That's one of the lines. They're not show out.
Okay, this is my last question for you, and thank you so much for being patient with me. So much of performance is acting, in the sense that, yes, you are yourself when you perform as a musician, but you have to, no matter what, even if you're having a bad day, even if you woke up crying today, you have to go on and be who you have told people you are, And one of the pieces of advice that a lot of acting, famous acting teachers have given to their students is that when you walk on stage or when you begin to a scene, always have a secret, an unspoken secret in you that is going to drive or color or influence what you say and how you say it, right? When you go on stage, Tarriona Tank Ball, and when you go on stage, Big Freedia, is there a secret in you that you would like to tell us about?
Wouldn't be a secret now, would it?
Well, there's, you can have one that maybe you don't use so much anymore.
I mean, for me, before I go on stage, I pray and I push. And when I start to walk from the side or from the back or from the middle, the energy that I feel in the room, it lights me up. So it sets a fire under me, and it makes me wake all the way up because I'm here to entertain the fans and to give them what they've came to see. And so we feed off the energy. That energy back and forth is what helps me to, just wake up. I could be having a bad day, but when I see they're screaming and hollering Freedia, that changes real quick.
Absolutely. But at the same time, you're still the kid from Josephine Street.
Oh, yeah.
You're still the kid who went through a lot.
Most definitely.
A lot and all. And so that's the thing, like with these kid pictures, these little pictures that we see of you, you know what I mean? The audience, they don't know that little boy, but you know that little boy.
I do. But at those moments, I also have a chance to lay my hair down and forget about all of that and be right in the moment.
Okay. All right, then. Miss Paul.
Well, besides not tripping on a wire, my dad died really early, and he was an aspiring singer. And when I was growing up, I just wanted to be a teacher, or just a poet that carried around her notebook everywhere. So when I'm up here, my dad is always there with me, and he tells me what to do and when to do it. It's like a spirit saying, go over here, go over there, wink at her, point at her. You know, do this run. You know, it's crazy. And if I'm sick or if I can't do it, I don't feel well, I say, Daddy, I need you to come through. This is your dream. Because I didn't even have no thoughts of this for real. This is your dream. I'm living out for you. I need you to come through. And he always does. He has a first seat row from heaven, watching every night, and I just watch him as I perform sometime. And that's one of my secrets.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. It's so interesting because, I mean, you know, the last thing I'll say is, you know, there was a song that Chris Christopherson wrote a long time ago called The Pilgrim, Chapter 33, which many of you probably already know. And he's talking about the lot of the performer who sees good days and bad days, you know. And he says at the end of that performer's life, from the rocking of the cradle to the rolling of the hearse, the going up was worth the coming down. I love that line. From the rocking of the cradle to the rolling of the hearse, the going up was worth the coming down. Does that resonate with you?
Sounds sad. It's make me think about a hearse. Oh my God.
But you know, this is a ride. You know what I mean? Music, you know, making music today is tough. It requires, as you all have both said, sacrifice. It requires extraordinary faith. You have wonderful moments of like attribution. I mean, yes, of you know what I mean, of real love from your fans and all of that. But at the same time, you also have your own downs too. You know, that's everybody, even if you're a baker or a mechanic.
Can I ask Freedia a question?
You should.
Okay, Freedia, who is your most favorite artist to collab with?
Yeah.
My most favorite artist to collab with, honestly, I enjoy all of my artists that I collab with because I be able to step into all of those different spaces and to be able to step into their world and bring a little bit of my world. But if I had to pick one or two, I would pick Beyonce and you.
No way. He just said it because I'm.
Did you know he was going to say that?
I mean, Beyonce, yeah.
I mean, we make some fire music together.
Oh, I love our songs.
And, you know, I was just about to say when we get off stage, it's time for another one.
It is time.
You know? And so...
it is time.
Yeah, and I mean, we just know how to connect together, and us being NOLA babies, we really know how to bring it for what we need to bring it for, you know, and really make the song connect and do what it do.
Mm-hmm. And so for you, who was your favorite collaborator?
I gotta go to 3 now.
All right, do it.
It's gonna be Free. It's gonna be Robert Glasper.
Yeah.
And Samara Joy.
Oh, sure. Yes. Remember. Fantastic. Well, please help. Thank you very much for your wonderful, wonderful moments with us today. And
thank you,
and
Ms.
please
Gwen.
help me, everyone, to thank Big Freedia and Tarriona Tank
Thank y'all
Ball.
so much.
Tarriona Tank Ball and Big Freedia.